I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to Afterbuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hi guys! Welcome to 911 After Show on Afterbuzz TV. I'm Courtney Allen, your host, and unfortunately I'm going to be by myself today. Portia will be back next week, but I'm so excited that we're still here to broadcast during this crazy pandemic that's going on. I hope everybody's taking care of themselves and staying safe inside the house. So this was a crazy episode, so let's get started. This was 911 Season 3, Episode 12, Fools, and there was no shortage of fools on this episode. So Christopher got injured, a woman got shot by her husband, and Athena checks on Michael, and poor Josh gets robbed while trying to go on a date. So let's get right into it. So Christopher, it basically starts out, Eddie goes into a parent-teacher conference for Christopher's school, and he takes the nurse that was actually Connie Britton's old character, her mom's nurse. He goes with the support of her to the parent-teacher conference, and it's basically just like Eddie's like, this is crazy. Like, he obviously just like needs support because his wife died, which is really hard for him to be raising Christopher. So it's been funny because at the last parent-teacher conference, it was a really, really attractive teacher. I think it was Christopher's English teacher. And the nurse actually noticed that Eddie and her had some sort of like connection, which was really funny because me and Portia are always talking about how we kind of want like Eddie to like spark up another romance. I think we actually literally talked about it last week. So when that happened, I was like, this is it. She's like super cute. So I was like loving it. So Christopher, actually, we find out Christopher gets injured by trying to ride a skateboard at school, like the other kids, and Eddie had to come up to the school, and he actually ends up getting mad at that same teacher, which, I mean, there's only, like, kids are going to be kids, and, you know, Christopher's, like, a brave kid, so if kids are doing things, like, he's obviously going to want to join in, and he's basically fearless, all the stuff he's survived in his life. He's still so positive and strong. So, of course, he's going to want to try to ride the skateboard like the other kids. So, Eddie just kind of took it on the teacher, which she was really apologetic for. But it actually was sad because later on, Christopher and Eddie had a talk. And Christopher was like, Dad, like, you lied to me. You said I could do anything, which was a really sad moment because everybody that watches 911, like, you know, Eddie's like a hardcore, amazing father, and he tries to do anything he possibly can to take care of Christopher. So the fact that he was like, "You're a liar, Dad," like, I'm sure that just like hit his heart because, you know, he's kind of sensitive, especially when it comes to his son, as I would completely understand because all of us would be, not us because I don't have any kids, but one day I imagine. So later on, they have like some talks about what Christopher is actually capable of, which I think was really nice for them to have that conversation because, yeah, you can do anything, Christopher, but maybe you just have to like go to certain measures to make sure that you're safe. Which Eddie later builds him like some sort of skateboard, like, I don't know, I don't want to call it contraption, like a skateboard thing to where he's like supported. And he basically like backs up the fact that like, yes, you can do anything, but like, we're going to be careful and make sure that you're healthy while you're doing it so you can live as normal of the life as possible. And that's the kind of father Eddie is. Like, he will just go to extreme lengths to make sure that Christopher has everything he needs and is happy. And he's just a really great father. And like, I really want to see a romance spark up for him because I think it would be really, really great for him to have some moral support. Like, if he would have gone to a parent-teacher conference, he could take his girlfriend instead of, I guess, the at-home nurse that works with Christopher. So I'm excited to see where that goes for him. So the second thing I was going to bring up is the lady Joan, who actually gets shot by her husband. We don't find that out till later, but thanks to Athena, we kind of get little tidbits of like what her and Detective Romero are thinking as far as like whether or not like the lady shot herself or the husband shot her. Like, we don't really know for sure. But so technically it starts out with a cop, or like not a cop, a doctor. Everything good? Okay, cool. So back what I was saying. So Athena walks in this hospital and the doctor's like, look, we have a lady who has a bullet lodged in the back of her head. And it's been there for a while, but she's okay, and we don't really know where to go from here, but they're just letting Athena know because she's a cop. So she brings the detective, and they start questioning Joan. And it's like really sketchy because Joan seems really aloof and forgetful, like definitely like she's had some sort of like memory loss, and they're really just trying to like respond to her reactions. They take a couple of her items so they can look over it and kind of do some investigating. And later on, because you know Athena's like always on top of stuff. Whenever something's like even a little bit off, she's like, something smells fishy. Like, I'm about to tackle this right now. So they went to her house a little bit later on in the episode, her and the detective, and they go inside and they're trying to look for evidence for anything that could have indicated that there was like any sort of shooting, and they're just outside the house talking about it. And they have a nosy neighbor, of course, who I end up loving because she like basically like saved the day and really help them solve what actually happened. And she was saying she heard from a contractor that there was a break-in, but apparently that was never mentioned to them. So they're just like, a break-in? Like, what? Like, was there really a break-in? We don't really know at that point, but it definitely like seemed fishy. So then later on the episode, they go back and question Joan while she's with her husband who's there. And basically they start crying, and they kind of put pressure on them to like answer some of their questions. And eventually Joan kind of starts to remember all the stuff that happened when, so her and her husband got into a fight, and it was like a whole mess, and he was actually being really, really mean to her. Like, I don't know if it was just me, but like during that fight, I was like, this is a marriage. Like, are you kidding? Like, you signed up for this. Like, everybody has their part in a marriage. So the fact that he just blamed everything on her and like flipped out. And I also think it's extremely dramatic how he like seemed to like, he seemed like he was totally in his right mind to just pick up that gun and shoot at her. Like, it wasn't, he was like temporary insanity when he was talking to the detective, but I'm just like, he seemed like he was clearly in his right mind. Like, he had a problem and he wanted to get rid of it. And that was his wife. So I was just like, sir, you are a fool. Name of the episode, fool. That's one of them right there. Um, so basically, after she remembers all the things, her husband basically gets. Sorry guys, I think I'm having some weird connections, but so Josh is Maddie's coworker at the 911 operating building, and we don't really get to hear that much about Josh's personal life. I feel like Maddie has had such a troubling experience since she's been at that job that a lot of it has been focused on her. But now we get to focus on Josh a little bit. So it was nice that they invited them. Chim and Maddie invited him over for the game night, which I loved because we just don't really get to see that much from him. And he seems like he's a really good like support system for Maddie. So they're like basically like bashing Buck for being single at the game night, but they end up kind of like having a conversation with Josh, him and Buck, about how hard it is to be single. And they live in LA, so I understand it's very hard to date out here. It's already hard to date in 2020, but like dating in LA, like if you live in LA, like it's a struggle. It is a struggle because everybody's out here like doing their thing, chasing their dreams. So like, trust me, I get it. Buck and Josh, I get it. But so Josh ends up getting on a dating app and tells Maddie he's going to go on a date, and he's super, super excited about it, which obviously Maddie's a really good friend. So she's naturally going to be excited for him too. And I was excited for him. So we all were excited. We had high hopes for him. But I feel like as soon as Josh walked into the date and after they started talking for a little, I had like 911 anxiety that something was about to happen. But I didn't really know something bad was going to happen until the guy told Josh that they should go in the back and like make out. And I was like, this is too good to be true. Like, this is way too good to be true. Something's about to go down. I didn't think it was going to be that, but I thought it was going to be something bad, which it was. So once I ended up going to the back, at the cemetery where we were watching the movie, the man who's on a date with actually ends up meeting up with another man. They rob him and they beat him up, and they basically like leave him for dead. And it's really, really sad because you can tell in the hospital scene how defeated Josh is. When usually he's the one that's always uplifting Maddie, but he was finally in the position where he felt defeated and Maddie could kind of like come to his rescue and bring him up. But it was weird because when the doctor asked Josh if he'd recognize any of the people that assaulted him, he said no. And of course, Maddie's like, she's like, Miss Fix It. She wants to fix everything, even when no one asked her. But I totally get it because as a friend, you you want to get to the bottom of anything that's bad happened to your friend. So Maddie's like, why didn't you tell them? And he was basically like, look, I'm embarrassed enough. Like, I was already going on a date. Like, I just want to like put this behind me, which I completely understand. But I feel like getting justice for what was done to him and for what might have possibly happened to a lot of people before or possibly even after. I wish he kind of would have like followed through with that, but I totally get like the shame that could be associated with that because I think a lot of people experience that, blaming themselves, and they just try to like make it go away. So hopefully Josh can recover from that and try to get back out there because I would like to see something develop for him in the future. But actually, someone in the live chat brought up, they were like, I like it more when Audrey O said, I like it more when they focus on personal relationships rather than like the fires. And I completely agree, Aubrey, because
I'm Maria Menounos.
so yeah,
and
I'm
you're tuned in
basically
to
just
AfterBuzz
really
TV.
happy that Josh is being more intertwined in the storyline. And I kind of can't see I can't wait to see where that goes for him because he's a really good friend of mine. I just love that Maddie has like a solid friend that she can rely on outside of Jim, obviously, because he's amazing, and then her brother Buck. So a couple more things that we need to talk about are definitely some of like the little incidents that happen in between because I kind of like them today. So 911 opened up with the motorcycle incident where three dumb, foolish guys tried to put their friend on one of those, I don't even know what they're called, the spinny things at the park. You guys will watch today, you know, right? So they tried to put him on that, and then they ran the motorcycle on it so the thing would keep spinning around in a circle. So I guess the friction from the heat from the motorcycle and that little piece of metal or whatever, it caught on fire, and the guys called 911, freaked out, and then they dipped and left their friend behind. And I'm just like, what are you guys, 10 years old? You literally just left your grown friend to basically die, and then you're gonna hide in the bushes. Like, come on. So when the cops are not the cops, when the 118 came, the guy's pupils were freaking huge. Like, I've never, like, that was crazy. I thought he was dead. But I didn't know how, but I was kind of scared because I was like, oh my God, they just like left him there. So they brought him back and he was fine. But I felt like that was like kind of a crazy one. Like, I liked it. I liked it way better than the ones from last week because it was just different, and I don't know, I just didn't expect it. And then, so the disaster date was actually really funny since they were discussing dates throughout pretty much the whole episode with as far as Buck and Josh. So a guy and a girl actually went on a date, and they were actually chilling in his house, and they started to like get cozy, and the girl's stomach rumbled, which I feel like if you're a girl and you have these types of issues on a date or like anyone's house that you like, that's probably like one of the top 3 worst feelings ever. It's never happened to me before, and I'm very grateful. But like, if that happened to me and then the toilet overflowed, like, I don't know what I would do. I mean, I definitely want to climb out the window, but I would try to like do something. I don't know. Maybe just have to be honest and just realize that it might be over. So she had some constipation issues. She went to the bathroom and the toilet overflowed. And she was trying to stop it, but she couldn't. So she basically got a rag and put whatever feces she left in the toilet in the rag, tried to lean out the window and throw it out, which I feel like I don't know, that was weird. I don't know how she got stuck. I don't know why her whole body was out there. She should have literally just cracked it and like threw it as far as she could. But for some reason, her whole body ended up out there. I know she dropped it on the ledge, but I don't know. I don't know, girl. You need to be a little bit more like precise if you're trying to get stuff done. But she ended up getting stuck in the window, and the guy had to call the 118 and come get her outside the window still. But it was actually nice because she was embarrassed, but the guy was like, just stay, it's fine. And I thought that was really cute that he was like, don't even worry about it, like, it happens. Like, he was a really cool guy. So I feel like when stuff like that happens, it makes you just realize like you're human, like we're all human, like things happen. It's really, really, really embarrassing. But we actually find out at the end of the episode that they're still hanging out. See, you don't have to be perfect, ladies. Guys will accept you just as you are. All your little like weird quirks and incidences that you have, don't worry about it. So what we're going to do now is our special segment, which is the Queen Bassett moment, which is the time in the episode where we basically honor Angela Bassett for the queen that she is. And we kind of just shed light on a little part of the episode where she like basically like is running things. And I think my Queen Bassett moment is probably when Athena went to deliver groceries to Michael, because we know that she had ulterior motives, especially with everything going on with this tumor. So she basically slickly tries to slide in the situation with Joan and the bullet lodged in the back of her head and kind of relate it to Michael's tumor. Because we all know last episode, Michael decided that he was not going to try to remove the tumor. He was just going to try to do radiation to shrink it. And knowing Athena, she doesn't want to sit around and watch him die. So she is going to try to like stick near him, be close, and kind of just like plant little seeds in his head here and there, like trying to convince him to maybe try and move forward and not just sit back and die. But Michael was very he was pretty firm and like saying like, I don't want to die either, but this is the route I want to take. So we'll see if Athena ends up accepting it. But I think her will to try and for him to live, because she doesn't want to see him die, obviously. Like, it's the father of her kids, her ex-husband, and he's kind of like her best friend. So I love her dedication to that, because she's just so strong and powerful. I love her so much. So we have a little bit of 911 news. A lot of things are crazy right now in the world with the coronavirus, and a lot of people are shelter in place, and people are doing the things that they can do to help our community, especially the healthcare community. And 911 is a show that's actually doing their part. I went online and I saw from, I think it was E! Online, that 911 is actually delivering medical supplies they use as props, and they're delivering them to healthcare professionals like around LA, which I thought was super, super cool, that all the things that they use on set can actually be used to help what's going on right now in the world in real time to combat the coronavirus. So I thought that was really amazing. So props to everybody on the production, or everybody that leads the show 911, because they're really, really helping in the best way that they can. So let's head into predictions. There was a lot of craziness in this episode. So again, my predictions are not gonna be like something that actually might realistically happen, but it's more something that I want to happen. I don't know if I'm selfish or what, but Eddie is gonna have a love interest, and it's gonna be the English teacher. I'm calling it. That's what I want. I feel like they would be really, really cute together, and he would just have a good support system. And then I'm still holding out that Michael's going to change his mind and try to get this surgery. And I think with Athena on my side, I think that that'll be able to be done, because she's not going to give up. I just don't see it for her. But that covers it for season 3, episode 12, Fools for 911. Thanks so much for joining, guys. Taking the time out of your day. I know there's a bunch of stuff you could be doing, but really appreciate you joining me today. And hopefully I'll see you guys next week. And Portia will be here too. So heading out. Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to Afterbuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterbuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.